Yeah, let's talk about what we're going to see here as these two titans of the game go at it, hammer and tongue. Sultai control Naya Adventures. Sultai control the old guard, if you want to phrase it like that. Over the last couple of weeks, it has been the dominant deck. This is the latest configuration of it, Marnie, cutting down on copies of Valky, going up on copies of Aldrin's Epiphany, and Seeker's Chariot, the latest introduction in this list, pairs very well with Yorion, its companion. Now, and have a look at the opposing deck in the hands of the Spaniard Javier Dominguez. He's playing Naya Adventures. I think we need a bit of a delineation between the old Naya Adventures and the new. This is Naya Fury playing Goldspan Dragon in conjunction with Kazul's Fury and Unleash Fury here. This is a Naya Adventures deck, Money, that has a combo finish. Talk us through it very quickly here. All right, well, let's move on to the gameplay here and see how things go between these two players. Seth Manfield, what hasn't he done really? Pro Tour champion, Hall of Fame member. Javier Dominguez, a world champion.
Both world champions, I believe.
Indeed, both of them world champions, of course, as I say. What hasn't Seth Manfield done? But Javier Dominguez, I guess, has...
that got a invitational card. I think Paulo, the next world champion after him, is also receiving a card. We just haven't seen it reach print yet, since that Worlds was last year, and that's kind of the speed at which the print cycle works.
Yes, indeed. And of course, when we say invitational card, we're talking about the old cards. We're talking about Dark Confidant, Shadow Mage Infiltrator, the classics that featured winners of the Invitational, a tournament series that was retired. And, it's difficult to get your face on a Magic card. Either you win a world championship these days, win an Invitational years ago, or be the mum of an artist, in the case of Admiral Beckett Brass. So, you can sort of pick your path.
Find that time in this sort of more mid-range aggressive matchup from Javier. Javier, this is his bread and butter. He won Worlds with essentially a red aggressive deck. He won a Pro Tour with Gruul aggro. This is the comfort zone for him, this type of archetype.
Yeah. But it's not unusual to see Seth's deck without any creatures on the battlefield. In fact, I'd say it's typical given the fact that it doesn't play very many creatures at all here. Valky can be run out as a 2-drop, but often isn't. Usually it will. Well, never mind. Okay, I'll forget it. Sorry, Seth. Sorry, mate. Sorry, trying to commentate a game while you're making a fool of me.
Sorry, Mr. Manfield. I was wrong. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have said that. Spoke too soon.
Here, snagging a Bone Crusher Giant out of the hand isn't too bad, actually. We'll keep the pressure down a little bit, but I think at this stage here,
I think you see Seth's decisions on that turn sort of suggesting he's trying to find something. He could have gone for a Ketria Triome to try to set up for Tybalt the next turn, have his red source, but instead goes for a Zagoth Triome, trying to have the second black source he needs to set himself up for a potential top deck Shadows verdict. Landing Tybalt there puts him in a position where, one, he can get one of these creatures like Bone Crusher Giant out of Javier's hand, and two, it essentially turns off the attack from that 1/1 from Javier, so saves himself a bit of life as well as he tries to get into a position where he can try to stabilize this board. He's quite behind, right? Oh my god, never mind.
Third chapter of
Find the Old Gods.
Find the Old Gods procs here, but that's not the thing we're looking at right now. We're looking at an emergent alt, almost certainly locked in here.
Yeah, I think best to see God of Vorinclex Aldrin's Epiphany is just the clear choice here. And now we're going to see the insane power of Cure Best to See God plus Vorinclex. Going to get both counters on that saga now. Immediately get an 8/8 and tap your opponent's board. Attack for 8, and Javier has nothing in hand. And Unleash Fury that's dead in 2 lands. And this game could just be over if Javier doesn't draw a castable creature here.
Really important note if you're going to pick up this deck and play with it. Really, really important note. You must make sure the Vorinclex resolves before the Tybalt or the Kiora, which means that on the Sultai Ultimatum, on the Emergent Ultimatum
it's over
screen, when you pick which one you want, you always click on the Vorinclex last. So it'll resolve first. That's exactly what Seth Manfield does. And as we say, it wins the game then and there. And that is the power of this control deck. It has not quite a...
Things are not getting easier for Javier post-board. Game 1, Seth's deck is a bit clunkier, trying to make sure that it has game against everything.
Old mate Goldspan Dragon, he can crack some skulls as well. Don't worry about it. With cards like the Unleash Fury and the Into the Kazul's Fury, Sajiri Step to Sajiri Shelter to get it through. This is really, really powerful stuff that we see.
Gate Restoration, so 2 lands with the Haven, that's 3 lands, so he could have cobbled something together, but I think the mulligan is a safer choice, and also a callback to a recent Seth Manfield tweet saying that perhaps I should be mulliganing more.
The thing is, you know that if Seth mulligans, you know it's a bad hand. You know it's a bad hand. Like if it's a 50-50 for the rest of us, Seth's just like, nah, I got to get rid of it. It's like, okay, well, that was correct. That's fine.
Yeah,
All right.
We've been stating Goldspan Dragon over the weekend how important it is this card has haste, how important it is that people need instant speed answers to it. And Seth's deck notably doesn't have that many. There's really only 4 copies of Heartless Act here, especially once he's boarded out those mystical disputes that can answer this dragon at instant speed.
And the Heartless Act's also not reliable in a deck that is playing Sajiri Shelter, because even if you cast on turn 5, the dragon gives you the mana immediately as soon as it's targeted in order to cast your protection spell. So it's by no means a dead cert. We've got a couple of copies of Heart's Desire here, and that's followed up by a Love-Struck Beast. Tale as old as time, as we see Wolfwillow Haven played as well.
1/1 from Javier immediately unlocks that 5/5 to swing across, and it's just rough both ends.
Well, there is the Extinction event, getting rid of the 2 1/1s here, and that kind of next turn. So you want to just play out another 5 drop here. Is he going to maybe cycling away the Wilt here?
Oh, I think you should kill the
Oh, wow. Too. No, he's just going after the Wolfwillow Haven. Of course, I forgot that was a play available to him. Well, tidy little sequence there for Dominguez, an effective...
exact board state in hand. You're going to need the pressure more than anything. So I think Javier making great decisions, but it's really going to come down to if Javier hits this land drop here, Seth's in a lot of trouble. And Seth actually playing around that, making sure that's not even an option. Love this play. Fantastic.
So there's Valky now, comes down. And in comes the Shepherd.
Dragon came back the very next day.
Another Love-Struck Beast here. So Javier not finding the 5th land. You just play the Omen first, I think, and see what you're looking at.
Oh my god.
Or instead just do something neither of us said and turn it into a dragon, and this means the Omen can get cast anyway. Wow, Valky revealing his true colors here. Beneath that hood was an enormous 4/4 dragon. Who knew? But it's not going to be the only 4/4 dragon on the battlefield here, Money.
No, to Seth's credit, I completely forgot about Valky's ability to turn into a copy of the creature that is exiling. And yeah, that dragon giving Seth 2 more mana means that now Seth has the option of untapping first and potentially just drawing an Emergent Ultimatum that he can cast.
Ooh, bam, look at this. An Elder Gargaroth. That's generating a lot of advantage here for Seth, not just on the board, but also when it comes to mana. Those treasure tokens flowing thick and fast. Look at this.
Yeah, Seth can now go Gargaroth and Binding in the same turn, get rid of Javier's dragon, try to stabilize the board with Greater Gargadon, and even if Javier was to draw a 1-drop, thanks to Gargaroth's ability to gain 3 life on a block, Seth is still not dead on the board.
So
Javier needs a showdown.
What are we going to see? Oh, we're going to see the Binding first here. Binding the Old Gods, that's going to get rid of the opposing dragon. Doesn't trigger its ability, of course. It's not a spell, it's an ability. And now Elder Gargaroth.
Javier needs a showdown.
And there it is. Kabam! Look at that. 4 cards off the top. See what they are. Got a Shepherd of the Flock.
Right now, but this Gargaroth is not letting any blockers through, and this is all known information, so Seth knows that he's on 2 life right now.
Maybe he doesn't actually factually have to, but what we're looking at here, given the mana producing ability of Goldspan Dragon, but looks like Seth's going to take a different route here. Plays an Omen of the Sea. See what he finds. Let's try to draw a card. Finds Pelucranos and Heartless Act.
Okay. So with Seth drawing the Pelucranos first rather than the Heartless Act, now it means that if he wants access to the act this turn, he would need to have drawn with the Gargaroth, instead gaining life and essentially saying that I want to play the Pelucranos this turn and represent another large attacker.
So the Gargoyles trades with another Love-Struck Beasts here. They could have been undone had the Heartless Act gone to hand, but instead it is Pelucranos. Seth on a healthier 10 life here. Doesn't have any mana to make Pelucranos fight.
And Seth didn't kill the Shepherd of the Flock, instead dealing 4 damage to 1 damage to the other Love-Struck Beast.
They didn't. There wasn't a triple block, I don't think.
Oh, okay. There was only a
No,
double block. Sorry, it
block.
looked like a triple block for a second, but of course not.
Over here, searching up a mountain with his Fabled Passage.
Oh,
and
Javier
Soul's
just
Fury. Wow, very aggressive. Look at this, sacrificing the Love-Struck Beast, going upstairs with it. So it's down to 5. Edgewaller Innkeeper. Not a bad one with the Shepherd in hand.
Sure. Oh, there's another Kazul's Fury.
Another Kazul's Fury hiding out in the lands. Look at that. We missed that one. Another Kazul's Fury as a land here. And now, out of nowhere, look at that. Another counter on the Shepherd of the Flock. And Kazul's Fury number 2 goes to Seth Manfield. Javier Dominguez hiding. Able to pull off that double fling. But even the most eagle... I mean, Money, it's very unusual for you to miss something like that. You're usually on top of everything, so it shows just how...
It really looked like it was just Seth's to win.
Drannith Magistrate, very useful against Emergent Ultimatum, as it prevents... You can cast the Ultimatum, you just can't cast anything else. So you can go and get 3 cards and then shuffle 1 back in and then leave the other 2 in exile because you can't cast them with a Drannith Magistrate out. So it is a useful piece of technology. All right, there's the clip.
It also shuts off Foretell as well, right? So no Auron's Epiphanies from Foretell either.
Very true. But there's the clips. Let's remember this time. All right, there's a copy
there's
of
a constant playing the Shepherd in hand. Noted.
Yeah. You won't fool us again, Javier. The Shepherd played out as 3-1 here.
Does Seth have the 3rd untapped land? He does. All right, so Cultivate.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Great start for Seth here.
Mm-hmm. Playing with land box basics here, whereas Dominguez has gone to a little bit more trouble to find some of those John Avon unhinged.
Classic land box basics.
I do like that Arena has just basic station basics as well. I think it's very good that you can tell that, the PVs and the sets of the world have not put any thought into it whatsoever. Here's Omen now. Javier's hand not looking great, but he does have the double copy of Showdown, so he's going to be able to do some work with that. The 2 Unleashed Furies are going to be good once a Dragon comes down, but in the meantime, they're not doing a whole lot.
Yeah, the big problem for Javier right now is he knows there's a card Foretold. So that is guaranteed to be Auron's Epiphany. I guess not guaranteed. There are some copies of Behold the Multiverse in the deck, but realistically, Javier should have some expectation they're boarded out. So he knows about the blue source in Seth's hand. That's revealed from Cultivate. That means that Javier can expect Seth to play Epiphany next turn and get to 7 mana. So this is Javier's last turn before Seth gets to a potential Emergent Ultimatum, and all he's going to do is play Showdown of the Skulls.
Not great.
Not great.
Not ideal for him here. He plays the Showdown. Going to peel 4.
Oh, this game is looking really tough for Javier here, and I don't think I would be surprised to see Seth just kill off this Shepherd, go into 2 clean turns of Epiphany into Emergent Ultimatum.
Keeping the board nice and clear after this Showdown.
It's not Behold, Javier. I have bad news.
And now Auron's Epiphany into Emergent Ultimatum. Triple green, double blue, double black, easily achieved. And let's get those 3 cards. The classic package is, of course, Vorinclex, Tybalt, and the Auron's Epiphany. But let's see if Seth wants to take a different approach here.
Yeah, that package sounds pretty good to me. I think you could also go with Cure Best the Sea God, Vorinclex, Auron's Epiphany. Might actually be more pressure than Tybalt here.
Yeah, it's more pressure, less value, certainly. You don't get to the draw 2, but
Gargaroth with more stats and hexproof here. Yeah, Seth eventually decides that's the way to go, and you never give him the time walk here. You just
never
can't.
give him the time walk. Nope. So Kiribes, the Sea God, and Voronclex. You can see there the sequencing. Voronclex clicked last. Voronclex clicked last. And so it's Klexy's Midnight Runner coming along with the 8-8. And, that Showdown of the Skulls, that's tapped. That's not getting untapped next turn.
It's not getting tapped or getting a counter, Riley. Voronclex, of course, cutting the counters from Javier in half as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just game over.
So back to Javier, who really doesn't have much to do here. Can play the second Showdown and have an extra enchantment on the battlefield, I guess. Draws a card from the Bone Crusher Giant, Edge or Innkeeper combo. Plays another card out of the Showdown zone, but so powerful. It's so effective at ending a game swiftly and decisively. And look, it's possible to race it. It's possible to disrupt it. But at the end of the day, if Sultai does its thing, you can't stand in its way, man. Emergent Ultimatum is so powerful.